Tonight, guilty of impaired driving.
Today, the court rendered its decision. I accept this decision, and I accept responsibility for my actions.
An Ottawa councillor ordered to surrender his driver's license. Matthew Luloff will be fined and banned from driving for 1 full year after the verdict at the Ottawa courthouse today. Substantial completion on the East End LRT extension means testing could soon get underway.
The fact that they're saying it still looks good for Q2 launch of the East extension leads me to believe that we're going to hear some positive news about the availability of the trains.
Welcome news for those making the daily trek from Orleans as our Ottawa's Worst Commute series continues this evening. And groceries on credit?
We see a lot of times we go over the budget with them. It's sad to see that their food budget is limited, and we know they're not living on that.
Or not at all. Some of the tough decisions families are making at the grocery store. Good evening. An East End councillor has been found guilty of impaired driving charges. A judge ruling Matthew Luloff was drunk behind the wheel in 2024. Luloff saying today he is taking responsibility for his actions. CTV's Katie Griffin is here with more. Katie.
Patricia, Luloff handed over his driver's license after he was sentenced. He told the judge he's taken steps to ensure this never happens again and says his decision that night was a serious lapse in judgment.
Today, the court rendered its decision. I accept this decision, and I accept responsibility for my actions. And that's all I have to say today. Thank you.
Ottawa Councillor Matthew Luloff speaking outside of court after being found guilty of impaired driving and having a blood alcohol level that exceeded the legal limit 2 hours after ceasing to drive.
Was there any collision involved in your drive home?
No. I've been eating Wendy's and trying to go to bed is what I've been doing.
Justice Michael Boyce found those admissions to a breath technician in the early morning hours after his arrest in July 2024 were among the evidence that proved Luloff was the person driving the vehicle that night.
I was driving behind them and beside them. They almost smashed into me, and they were driving on the curb and just swerving everywhere.
And those details from a witness who called 911 along with extremely high blood alcohol levels, evidence of his impairment. This is supported by the long signal light, driving through the bike lane, the abrupt turn into Wendy's, and the apparent failure to account for the speed bumps, all in conjunction with an inability to control his vehicle along Innes Road, Boyce said, telling Luloff on that night he represented a danger to members of your very own community. While Boyce found Ottawa police breached Luloff's charter rights by not telling him why he was being detained promptly and searching his satchel, it wasn't egregious enough to toss key evidence.
We had a number of charter challenges that we put forward, and a couple of them were accepted. But then in applying the grand test of the Supreme Court of Canada, His Honour found that they weren't sufficient to exclude the evidence.
Luloff was sentenced to a 1-year driving ban. He'll have to pay a $3,500 fine plus a 30% victim fine surcharge.
Luloff's lawyer says he doesn't think there will be an appeal. Patricia.
And Katie, I think the question that many of them are asking tonight is whether he can continue to do the work he was elected to do and stay on as councillor.
Well, the city says Luloff remains a councillor. As far as we're aware, there's nothing in the Municipal Act that would prevent him from staying on. Luloff posted a lengthy statement on social media saying he remains committed to serving the residents of Orleans East Cumberland and continuing the work entrusted to him. Patricia.
All right, CTV's Katie Griffin live for us tonight. Thank you. We have extended coverage of the guilty verdict in Matthew Luloff's impaired driving trial. There are more stories online at ctvnewsottawa.ca. Well, it's a major technical milestone for the O-Train East extension. Substantial completion has been achieved, meaning trial running could start any time. However, there is still one major issue preventing that from happening. When it's open, the East extension will bring commuters from Blair Station to Trim, with stops along the way at Montreal Road, Jeanne d'Arc, Convent Glen, and Place d'Orleans. CTV's Stephen Keys is in studio with more on today's construction update, Steph.
Now, Patricia's substantial completion lets us know the system's infrastructure is ready to go. That means things like the tracks, stations, and equipment the trains need to run are primed for action. But what many users will note right now is we can't say the same for all the trains. The extension is a key transit link for people living in the East End. Last year, OC Transpo overhauled its bus route network in order to connect people to the O train, and although reaching substantial completion brings commuters one step closer to riding the rails, there's still no word on when the 21-day trial running will actually begin. Because this is an extension to Line 1, the shortage of trains means there aren't enough for testing. Line 1 is still operating at a reduced level because of issues with the axles, and there's still no timeline on when those problems will get fixed.
It'll just, I hope, make it faster, provided that the train's not like delayed a million times a day. Seeing as when the train first came out, it wasn't super smooth. I'm not expecting it to be smooth this time either. But I mean, any sign of progress is good, I suppose.
Now, after trial running, if things go well, it shouldn't take too long to open the line. This new chapter also means Rideau Transit Maintenance now takes over responsibility for the line. LC Transpo interim boss Troy Charter told CTV News just yesterday the East Extension remains on track to open to passengers sometime between April and June, but many are also keeping in mind this extension launch has been plagued with setbacks. Patricia.
All right, CTV's Stefan Key is live for us tonight. Thank you. The delays in opening the East Extension form the focus of our Ottawa's Worst Commute series episode tonight. Riders are growing impatient as they deal with a shortage of buses and single-car trains, all leading to commuter chaos on some days. For a real-time snapshot of what this route can look like, we followed a city councillor from the East End into downtown, starting on a bus on Montreal Road. Going to Blair Station, from there we hopped on the train to U Ottawa and walked to City Hall. CTV's Leah Larocque joins us now with more on how it all went. Leah.
Well, during the morning or afternoon rush hour, Blair Station must be one of the busiest spots for OC Transpo. It's a main transfer point to take residents all over the East End. But ask anyone in Orleans and they will tell you that the commute would be made a lot easier if the Confederation line went all the way to Trim Road. But when that will be is still a big question mark.
For East End residents, the journey downtown doesn't start on the train, it starts on a bus, and hoping it will show up. And that includes Ottawa Councillor Tim Tierney, who's taking public transit to get to City Hall.
Get onto a bus that will take us to the future Montreal Road station, and when that train runs, it will avoid getting onto another bus that we'll have to get onto to be able to go to Blair Station, where all the East End bus traffic comes.
Route after route funnels into Blair Station. It's a major hub. And it's also a major bottleneck point. This bus is already full, and it left about 20 people waiting at the station.
It's just that there's not enough buses.
It's like as usual, like every day.
At the train platform, it's even worse. All of these riders squeeze into the single-car train, and this is the first stop on the line. Sophie Vincent is late for work because of public transit.
The 25, it was canceled by the time I got to the bus stop. So then I had to wait. There was supposed to be a 20-minute wait for the 25, but the 226 was coming in about 12 minutes. But the 12 minutes turned into about half an hour.
It wasn't until after our morning commute that we learned that if we were just a few minutes later at Blair Station, we would have been caught waiting at the platform with a massive crowd of passengers. They were waiting for about 20 minutes for the next train to come because of a delay.
It seems like everything's almost always breaking down. It makes you lose a little bit of trust in the system just in general when they promise you an extension of the line.
OC Transpo says testing could begin sometime in late spring or summer, but won't make any promises.
Because the transit is unreliable and the commute times are very long on transit, the majority of people are choosing to drive if they can, and so the congestion is out of control. Every major route in South Orleans is operating over capacity.
In total, the trip was just over an hour. The longest wait continues for a date for the Eastern Extension.
The unpredictability, inefficiency, the unknown, the frustration, the stress.
It'll be way faster. I'm usually on the train I take my first bus at 7:05 to get to school at 9:10, so.
Once the city is ready to start trial running, it has to be at least 21 days of good performance. During that period, the trains will run between Tunney's Pasture and Blair Station, but passengers will have to get off at Blair Station, and then empty trains will continue on to Trim Station. But just remember, OC Transpo currently only has enough trains to run single-car service, so it isn't clear if there will be enough trains for testing.
All right, CTV's Leah Larocque for us tonight. We're still collecting your stories of Ottawa's worst commute. Many of you have described journeys that take 90 minutes, 2 hours, even longer. We have a list of those stories on our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca.
Still ahead, an Ottawa man coping with ALS, hoping for some improvement as part of a new Canadian trial treatment. His story coming up.
Taking a live look through our Centennial Glass Skycam, it is -5 out there in Ottawa right now as we get our first look at the weather forecast. Jackie's here in studio with us. And Jackie, I should have trusted your advice on my commute last night. You said the canal was not in good shape.
Told you not to do it.
I thought I'd try it, put the skates on, took them off halfway because it was done. It's actually a little cooler tonight, maybe, I think, than it was last night, or close.
It is definitely a lot cooler than what we saw yesterday. I mean, yesterday we saw a daytime high of 7 degrees. We didn't quite hit that. For today, hovering closer to the freezing mark, but it was mainly cloudy skies, nothing in terms of precipitation, but there is active weather that is happening just above Lake Ontario, including Kingston. It has prompted a freezing rain warning in effect, and that is in effect for this evening into early tomorrow morning, and it could mean icy, slippery conditions for parts of Kingston, Belleville, as well as near Brockville. But again, it will clear out by the early tomorrow morning, but keep in mind it could lead to slippery, icy conditions for the morning commute. Now, right now, temperatures across eastern Ontario sitting around -3 to -5, mainly cloudy skies really for most of eastern Ontario, but again closer to Kingston and Trenton, anticipating some rain, freezing rain as well. Temperature wise for tomorrow, we are looking at a daytime high of 5 degrees. Keep in mind overnight here in Ottawa, there is a slight chance we could see a risk of freezing drizzle, but it is very slim. Mainly cloudy skies is what we're anticipating, so it will be a couple days before we see some sunshine. Now, taking a look here, Friday, mainly cloudy skies. Temperatures are going to start getting warmer. It isn't until Saturday that we are likely going to see heavy rainfall moving through the region, and parts of eastern Ontario could also see some risk of thunderstorms as well. We'll have a closer look at this forecast and more. Patricia.
Okay, thank you, Jackie. Well, it is a troubling new survey on how the rising cost of groceries is impacting Canadians. Many say they're eating less healthy food and increasingly buying on credit just to keep up. CTV's Kimberly Fowler is in studio with those details. Kimberly.
Well, Patricia, while many of the people I spoke with today say they haven't had to skip meals or make drastic changes to their budgets, all of them said they've changed how and where they spend their money over the past year because of the rising cost of groceries.
We're gonna make some lasagna.
Gail Barrett is finishing up a grocery run for the day at this local Walmart.
Onions for aromatics.
This is her last stop after shopping at Costco earlier in the day, getting food for her family.
Proper nutrition is important, but we're cutting back in other areas, right, to make sure that we can afford the groceries. I just kind of go to the spots that I know generally have good prices and buy what I can buy.
With rising grocery prices, some Canadians are consciously making hard choices to save money.
If it's not on sale, we're not buying it.
Like Fresco and like Walmart are like the places to go, I find, and like if you go to Farm Boy or like anywhere else, it's just like insane.
A new survey from debt relief firm Spergel finds in the past 6 months, just over 60% of respondents say they skip meals or reduce their portions. More than half say they use credit cards, loans, or lines of credit to pay for groceries. And about 40% say they delayed paying a bill to buy groceries. The survey also finds many are purchasing less meats or proteins and cutting back on fruits and vegetables.
The price of a container of strawberries is like $14 now compared to what it used to be. Even buying baby food, baby formula, I mean, it's tripled the price over the past few years.
Experts say the affordability crisis is leading to more Canadians going into debt and relying on credit to make everyday purchases.
I can't afford to pay the credit cards because the credit card interest rates are so high. We see a lot of times we go over the budget with them. It's sad to see that their food budget is limited, and we know they're not living on that.
Toman says, look at your budget, and if you're struggling financially, don't be afraid to ask for help.
I always suggest they reach out to their community, if their churches, the community resources, the food bank if they can. Also buy in bulk. watch for the sales, clip your coupons because that does help. I know it's a lot of work, but it's doable.
Now, while coping strategies like clipping coupons or price matching can help relieve some of the pressure of buying everyday essentials, the report warns that when households rely on credits or juggling bills to buy food, it can create a cycle of growing debt and financial stress. Patricia.
CTV's Kimberly Fowler live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, new details tonight on how the federal public service cuts will impact the RCMP. The plan is to cut 76 positions at the national headquarters here in Ottawa. Last week, more than 280 employees received notices that their jobs may be impacted. The RCMP was directed to find $6 billion in savings over 4 years. The city says Algonquin College's decision to slash dozens of programs this fall could impact recruitment in several city departments. The college's Board of Governors voted Monday to suspend another 30 programs as it deals with the financial crisis. The city says several of the program cancellations could impact areas at City Hall. It also says this could cause competition among Ontario municipalities for the same talent. Strikes continue on the 6th day of the war in Iran, with Iran, Israel, and the U.S. launching new waves of attacks. Explosions lit up the night sky in Tehran once again. Iranian officials say more than 1,200 people have been killed, and the war is escalating and spreading to more Middle Eastern countries. Israel continues to strike Lebanon, and Iran is retaliating by launching strikes toward Israel and American bases. Prime Minister Mark Carney not ruling out military participation in the conflict.
One can never categorically rule out participation. We will stand by our allies when it makes sense. There's a distinction between the offensive actions that were taken and are being taken by the United States and Israel, that were taken by them without consultation with Canada, with other allies.
Meantime, Canada is looking at other options for Canadians struggling to leave the war-torn region. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver has more on what the government has in mind to get Canadians home.
After a stressful few days stranded in the Middle East, a steady flow of travelers from Spain, the United Kingdom, and Germany are arriving back home courtesy of charter flights organized by their respective governments.
I've never had anything like it, never been so scared in all my life.
The government says charters from the UAE are in the works, and seats are being reserved on commercial flights from both the UAE and Lebanon. But so far, many Canadians, including Nirmal Beniwal, haven't heard anything.
Help us to get back home right now. It's very, very dangerous situation here.
Ottawa hopes charter flights for Canadians will leave the UAE in the next 72 hours, and that Canadians may be able to get out on flights leaving Oman chartered by our allies.
At any given moment, we need to know the best option available to us.
Devin Ramutar has booked nearly a dozen commercial flights, and all have been canceled at the last minute. He fears even a charter won't get him home.
All it takes is an airspace closure again, and what use is a charter flight if the airports were attacked here? So that's how fragile the situation is.
Given that fragility and the risk of missile attacks, one former military commander suggests Canada's best option may be military evacuations.
But you don't want to send a commercial jet in there and risk losing that commercial jet to combat fire. That's what Canadian forces are done, and now the question is, which option are they going to take?
The federal government says it is also working with countries including Israel and Qatar to bus Canadians to nearby countries where commercial flights are still available. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
Stay with CTV News for continuing coverage of the war in Iran. For updates on radio, tune into News Talk 580 CFRA and CTV News Channel at any hour. Well, Kristi Noem is out as U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security. The news broke online as Noem was speaking at a conference. Trump wrote on Truth Social that Noem, who oversaw the controversial immigration crackdown in cities such as Minneapolis, where 2 civilians were killed, will be moved to a new post as the special envoy for the Shield of the Americas, a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere. Well, still ahead, 3 good things to look forward to, including a parade this weekend. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Patricia. A freezing rain warning is in place for parts of the Seaway, and that includes Kingston and just shy of Brockville. It's expected to clear out by Friday morning, but keep in mind with temperatures going down to about -9 for here, at least in Ottawa, and really for most of Eastern Ontario, those puddles could be freezing and leading to icy, slippery conditions on the road and sidewalks. Good news is tomorrow we are warming up to about 5 degrees, but it will be quite some time before we see some sunshine. Now here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The sun continuing to set on the Capitol. Beautiful view of the center block here. It's about -5 right now in the Capitol.
Ottawa's favorite cash contest is back, and it's big. Move 100's $50,000 Beat the Bank. 7 vaults. You decide how much to take home. Sound the alarm? You lose it all. Be listening weekdays for your chance to win.
Today's snow report brought to you by Mont Cascade, only 20 minutes from Ottawa.
And here's today's snow report at Mont Cascade. There is a good solid base of snow. 4 of 6 lifts are operating and 17 runs are available. As we take a look around the region, all 3 lifts at Calabogie Peaks, 19 runs, also 19 runs at Vorlage, and all 4 lifts now operating. Camp Fortune, 4 of 6 and 14 runs. And at Edelweiss, 2 lifts are operating and 20 runs available to skiers and snowboarders.
At Mont Cascade, we continue to improve your experience. Latest technology snow guns and our RFID direct-to-lift system are new this year. Come and join us.
All right, well, every Thursday, we want to put the spotlight on 3 good things happening in our city.
That's right, and tonight we begin with the return of an Irish tradition here in the capital. The St. Patrick's Day Parade will take place this weekend for the first time since the pandemic. There's a new route this year, starting at the Supreme Court of Canada, traveling down Wellington Street and ending in the Byron Market. The parade starts Saturday at noon. And Patricia, I know that the Irish community here in Ottawa is very excited to have this back. Heart and Crown is saying, come on down. It ends right here in the market.
I love seeing the lineup at Heart and Crown on St. Patty's
going around
Day.
the block.
This is really early, though. They're spreading out the dates of the parades in Montreal, Toronto, and Ottawa. And I never want to rain on anyone's parade, but I think Jackie was saying maybe a chance of showers on Saturday. So hopefully that all works out. Because, yeah, it'll be great to have that back. All right, up next, we want to celebrate an Ottawa resident who has made a difference in the community for more than 5 decades. So over the past 50 years, Keith Brown has volunteered with the Outdoor Rink program, coaching hockey, mentoring generations of kids, helping build a strong sense of community. This spring, it has been announced Keith will be inducted into the Ottawa Sport Hall of Fame. The mayor was singling him out today. This is a really good group that he gets recognized with. I was looking at some of the names. Just back from the Olympics, Emma Miskew and Rachel Holman will be going in there. Val St. Germain, who was a renegade, and a guy who was born on the exact same day, same year as me, Jason York, former Sens defenseman.
Amazing. Yes, he's in good company. My goodness. And 50 years of volunteering.
That's a lot of work.
5 decades. That's amazing. All right. Patricia, finally, this one is for all the Ottawa gardeners who are getting ready for spring. CD Saturday returns this weekend.
What has really struck us in the past 3 years is the huge popularity of the seed exchange table. So this is where gardeners can bring in any seed that they don't need for the upcoming season, and they can pick up seeds that they do need.
The annual event allows people to buy or swap seeds and share gardening information as they prepare for spring planting. It's happening Saturday at Emmanuel United Church on Smythe Road from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. Admission is free.
Okay. Best thing about that is the name.
Yes.
CD Saturday.
Hook me right away. Right away.
Not for us, though, because
no green thumb.
No matter what kind of seeds, it's not going to grow. But for a lot of people.
No matter what kind of seeds, it's not going to grow.
Maybe. The ones that don't need water or fertilizer.
Not quitting my day job, folks. Not quitting my day job.
If you have a story for us to include in our 3 Good Things segment, we'd love to hear from you. Something light, happy, a community event, a way for us to learn to garden, any other notable achievement to brighten up the day. Just send your ideas to ottawanews@ctv.ca.
3 Good Things is brought to you by the new oak tree, hand-built for life.
Well, another good thing is the mild weather here in Ottawa. Temperatures were hovering just below freezing for much of the day. The water is flowing at Hogsback Falls, and things are set to warm up significantly over the next few days. Jackie is here with a full look at the weather. I already complained about the canal and taking off my skates. So then I got up on the sidewalk. Huge puddles. Like you kind of forget at the start of the melt how that's all going to play out.
And it was pretty muddy too in the grassier areas and not so grassy areas. So I got caught in that as well. But
early spring. Yeah,
there we go.
Spring.
Love to see that. In terms of tomorrow, though, it is still going to be kind of mild compared to what we saw yesterday. Cloudy skies, but we are anticipating dry conditions. It's a different story for our friends closer to the Kingston area, where, again, a freezing rain warning is still in effect. It should clear by tomorrow morning, but keep in mind as well, I've been seeing posts from people that for the overnight into early morning, it does lead to some slippery, icy conditions, especially with all that pooling of the puddles and the snow melt as well. So right now here in Ottawa, about -5. We saw a daytime high of 1 degree. Mainly cloudy skies is for our evening, and this will continue into the overnight for most of Eastern Ontario, where temperatures are sitting between -8, -10 degrees. It's slightly warmer again as we get closer to Lake Ontario, where temperatures in Kingston sit around -1 for the overnight. As tomorrow's daytime highs, well, we will be much higher than the freezing mark, so warmer than today. 5 degrees, the anticipated daytime high for here in Ottawa, about 7 degrees in Cornwall and Brockville. Mont-Tremblant and Montreal still slightly cooler, around 2 degrees to 5 degrees, but mainly sunny skies is anticipated. So by the time Friday morning rolls around, anticipate mainly cloudy skies. Make it a little bit of sunshine just before that sunset, but for the most part, it will be an overcast day. Compared to our friends across the country now, it's about -4 in Fredericton, -13 in Charlottetown. So pretty cool as we look to our friends out east. But here, things are warming up. Windsor at 6 degrees. There is a chance, though, with that weather system moving through and that warm weather, a chance of some thunderstorms as well. Flurries in Thunder Bay at -6. And things are starting to warm up. Meanwhile, while Saskatchewan has -8, -10 degrees, Edmonton and Calgary are now sitting between 3 to 6 degrees. Vancouver, though, 10 degrees and sunshine. Now, a lot of people are wondering when that rain is coming for Saturday and how it will affect my plans for St. Patrick's Day. Well, majority of the rain is going to be moving through early Saturday morning and should be subsiding by the time 7 a.m. rolls around Saturday. There will be a break in the rainfall around the noon hour, which is when the parade is taking place. And then in the evening, rain could pick up again, and especially along the seaway, paying attention here to that yellow, the risk of some thunderstorms moving through. So still a little bit early, but we are keeping a close eye on this. Now, the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business. So the early forecast indicates between 15 to 20 millimeters of rain when all is said and done. But Patricia, let's pay attention to that daytime high there. 13 degrees is what we're anticipating. And by Monday, we will see another double-digit day where 12 degrees will be the daytime high. It won't be until the end of next week that we may see some flurries, maybe some rain moving in.
Okay, double digits when they're on the positive side. So different from the negative.
Quite different.
Yeah, good stuff. Thank you, Jackie.
You're welcome.
It's a beginning. It's a start.
Well, coming up, an Ottawa man living with ALS approved for a first-of-its-kind Health Canada trial.
Tonight, what Canadian military involvement in the Middle East could look like.
We are in the process of deploying 6 people as liaison officers.
The latest country dragged into the conflict as Canadians scramble to leave the region. Later on CTV National News and watch on Crave.
CTV News community and weather anchor Jackie Perez. Weeknights.
Now to an update on a story of perseverance that we first brought you nearly 2 years ago. An Ottawa man living with ALS has been selected for a Health Canada approved treatment trial that is only being done here and in Montreal. CTV's Natalie Van Roy has the story.
How are you?
Good.
Good. All right, do you want to have a seat?
Raymond St. Pierre has been living with ALS for more than 2 years.
I've grown much weaker. I've lost a bit of balance and my hands, and now my speech is beginning to be affected.
St. Pierre spoke to CTV News Ottawa in 2024 after a promising breakthrough out of Western University.
Like I mentioned in the first interview, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. This could be it.
Researchers then discovered that targeting an interaction between 2 proteins present in ALS-impacted cells can halt or even reverse the progression of the disease. Now St. Pierre has been approved for a first-of-its-kind Health Canada trial.
First in Canada, and since Dr. Strong's discovery out of Western University with the cause of ALS.
Going to give us a reading of how.
He's one of the first patients in Canada to try a medication that is being tested only in Ottawa and Montreal.
Looking at darifenacin and whether it's able to aid patients with ALS to repair their nerve muscle junction and thereby improve their muscle strength and muscle function. I think the hope is that it'll slow down any progression of the disease. At this point, we don't know whether there will be any reversal or not of symptoms.
Dr. Ari Briner, the one overseeing the treatment, says it's unique.
A made in Canada study, so it's based on groundbreaking cellular and mouse work that was done at the University of Montreal, and the trial itself is only being conducted at 2 sites, both of which are in Canada.
For St. Pierre, he's only a few weeks into the 6-month trial and doesn't know how it could all work out. He could even be on a placebo, something both patients and doctors are not notified of during trial periods.
It's a beginning. It's a start. I'm hoping that it'll slow down the progression for sure. Taking the pills on a regular basis.
But for the 75-year-old, it also gives him hope that he can make a difference in the lives of those living with ALS. Natalie Van Roy, CTV News.
Now, some other stories you need to know right now. Residents in Hawkesbury are protesting against the proposed high-speed rail line.
And we're going to have to fight against the federal government.
Dozens of people gathering this afternoon to voice their concerns about the project. The proposed plan is to run trains between Toronto and Quebec City with stops along the way, including here in Ottawa and in Montreal. But many residents in rural Eastern Ontario say the high-speed rail line could divide communities, ruin farmland, and uproot their lives. The Ottawa Citizen Building in the West End could one day be replaced by 6-building development. The city has received a draft plan to build 6 high-rises at the site on Baxter Road. It's located next to the IKEA building and across the highway from the future O-Train LRT station. At least 4 of the 6 towers would be 30 stories for a total of 1,400 units. The proposed design includes a multi-use pathway and public park. Students at Ottawa's English Public School Board will be heading back to class before Labor Day next school year. The Ottawa Carleton District School Board plans to send elementary and secondary school students back on Tuesday, September 1st. That's 6 days before Labor Day, which falls late on the calendar this year. The Ottawa Catholic School Board will do the same. The earlier start assures students spend enough days in class to meet provincial requirements. And the Ford government is bringing paper report cards back to Ontario public schools. The province says the move will help families to have simple access to their child's progress. Many Ontario schools send student report cards electronically via a dedicated portal or password-protected email. There's no timeline for when paper report cards will be available.
We thought we'd try to find one lucky person with the oldest furnace out there to enjoy a new furnace.
Well, still ahead, searching for the oldest, most reliable furnace. The winner has outlived 2 or 3 generations of them.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Boal. Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Whether it's a vacuum cleaner, a refrigerator, or an air conditioner, there's an adage that says they just don't make them like they used to. An Ontario HVAC company was holding a contest to find the oldest working furnace, and the results may shock you. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
At this home in Bowmanville, the owner is getting a brand new furnace installed for free after winning a contest. Buttons Heating and Air Conditioning had the idea to find the oldest working furnace in Durham Region.
We thought we'd try to find one lucky person with the oldest furnace out there to enjoy a new furnace.
There were plenty of entries. The fourth runner-up was a furnace 49 years old, third place 55 years old, and second place 60 years old. But the winner of the oldest working furnace was 69 years old. It took 4 people to get the hefty unit out of the house and into a van. Owner Doug Bothwell doesn't remember a time without it.
So this furnace has been here most of your life?
Maybe all my life, this furnace, yeah.
Bothwell says despite its age, it never gave his family any issues.
I don't recall us ever having any troubles whatsoever. Not one. Like, it just ran and ran.
The new Daikin furnace he received should save him hundreds of dollars a year on his utility bills.
This is going to be significantly more efficient than that old beast he had. They're going to save a ton in hydro and significantly in gas as well.
Most new furnaces are expected to last 15 to 20 years with proper maintenance, but they use more electronics and sensors, making them harder to repair. Button says older models had fewer moving parts and were less likely to break down.
I guess it's one of those things, they don't build them like they used to, right? And it was purring like a kitten when we came here. I was just in shock, just the way it was still working.
Even though it was still heating his home and running smoothly, Bothwell says when offered a modern furnace, he had no thoughts of keeping the old one.
Not really, but, you know, I can't complain about it all. You know, I can't. Like, let's just hope this one's half as good. That'll be great.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Up next, a tech giant plans deep cuts, and the Iran war weighs heavily on the stock markets.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Boal.
Far side pass, and it's an early shot. He scored!
iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford store, and Eastern Ontario's Ford EV leader.
A March weekend on the way. Time now to check in with our iHeartRadio Weekender, Tanea Taylor. Tanea.
Kicking it off with the Ottawa Gatineau Golf Expo. This runs tomorrow and Saturday at the EY Centre, and it's your one-stop shop for all things golf as we get ready to kick off another season. Local and destination courses, live auctions, the Canadian Performance Fitting Centre demo range featuring all the latest equipment, and a $10,000 putting contest, plus so much more. Also happening this weekend is FemFest in honor of International Women's Day. This is Saturday and Sunday at Next Door Ottawa. It's a celebration of empowerment, creativity, and community, bringing together local artists, vendors, and changemakers committed to advancing gender equality and women-led initiatives. Last on the list today, your Ottawa 67s have 2 home games this weekend, one on Saturday versus the Brampton Steelheads and one Sunday against the Peterborough Petes, both, of course, at the arena at TD Place, and both with a 3 p.m. puck drop. Always a lot of fun cheering them on. They've had such a great season. As usual, lots more happening around the capital this weekend. Full list and all the details at ctvottawa.ca/weekenders. For the iHeartRadio Weekenders, I'm Tanea Taylor. Have a great one.
iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford store, and Eastern Ontario's Ford EV leader.
There's a report about more layoffs coming to the tech sector. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has more.
Bloomberg is reporting that Oracle plans to cut thousands of jobs. The company faces a cash crunch in part because of how much it's spending to build data centers. Oracle is an IT company that has over 160,000 employees around the world. The company isn't commenting on the report. Home sales in Toronto fell again last month, down over 6% from February of last year. The average selling price was down as well, over 7%. It's now just above $1 million. The Toronto Regional Real Estate Board estimates about 100,000 potential buyers are holding off, waiting for more stability in Canadian trade. Higher output helped Canadian Natural Resources offset the weaker price of crude. CNQ produced about 1.7 million barrels a day in its latest quarter, which is a record for the company. Its fourth quarter profit came in at $5.3 billion. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 73.16. West Texas Intermediate is up close to $5 at 79.43. Western Canadian Select is down to 60.39. And the TSX lost another 332 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marella Fernandez.
Well, coming up, the unexpected reason why the Ottawa Charge-Seattle Torrent game was delayed last night. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Patricia. Keep in mind, we are seeing a weather system that is moving through late Thursday evening into tomorrow morning. It is affecting likely just along the seaway, including Kingston, prompting a freezing rain warning in effect until early tomorrow morning. So again, this could lead to icy, slippery conditions. So plan your commute tomorrow morning accordingly. Now, here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam showcasing downtown Ottawa. It's -5 degrees out there right now, and get ready. After tonight, we're in for a stretch of above seasonal temperatures. I'll have your wake-up weather after the break.
You're watching CTV News with Patricia Boal.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Sanaya Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Tomorrow on CTV, Your Morning Ottawa, I paid a visit to some local beekeepers in Wakefield to learn the basics of saving the bees. Wake up the right way with Your Morning Ottawa.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Well, here is what is on CTV tonight. E-Talk, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage, Next Level Chef, 911 Nashville, and Grey's Anatomy. And here's a recap of the top stories we are following right now.
I accept this decision, and I accept responsibility for my actions.
A judge has found East End Ottawa Councillor Matthew Luloff guilty of impaired driving, dating back to an incident in the summer of 2024.
So I got on the bus at 7:28 this morning instead of 7:07.
And you're half an hour late?
And I'm half an hour late for work.
As we continue with our worst commute series tonight, we headed east where transit users say the shortage of buses and single car service is creating frustration and tight squeezes, especially at Blair Station.
They can't afford to pay the credit cards because the credit card interest rates are so high. We see a lot of times we go over the budget with them. It's sad to see that their food budget is limited.
And a new survey finds many Canadians are eating less healthy food and increasingly putting that food on credit because they cannot afford to buy groceries. Final look at the weather forecast with the mild days coming up, a little bit of rain too.
Yes, that's right. We're going to stay above the freezing mark for the next couple of days, but we are likely going to see rain. Not for tomorrow, though. Yes, there is a slight chance we could see some freezing drizzle, but most of it is focusing closer to the Kingston area. Cloudy skies and overcast for the most part, starting off things off at -6. But look at that. We get to a daytime high of 5 degrees, and that overnight low is going to be 4. Jumping into Saturday, where it is a St. Patrick's Day parade here in downtown Ottawa. It's going to be a daytime high of 13 degrees. And yes, 15 to 20 millimeters in rain anticipated, but I am looking, and you guys, the forecast is showing mainly cloudy skies for the noon hour when the parade kicks off.
So maybe the rain before the parade.
Before and after.
Okay, all right,
Yes.
well, that would be good.
It's not
Get a
raining
little
on the
window.
parade, showers of blessings, as they say.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's so nice. We want to check in and see what our team is working on for tonight. The prosaic Stefan Keys is here on the desk, looking ahead to the 11:30.
Well, Patricia, we now have spoken to several Eastern Ontario communities with concerns about the plans for high-speed rail. And so tonight, we revisit Hawkesbury, where many residents want the plans halted for the high-speed train to come blaring through their area. Many have argued that it will negatively impact the value of the land, disrupt agricultural opportunity, and even break up access to communities if the train tracks act like a border that cannot be crossed. Farmers saying they're ready for a fight with the federal government. Join us tonight for that story and more at 11:30.
All right, good stuff. Thank you. And finally for us tonight, the Ottawa Charge were playing in front of a packed crowd at TD Place last night, but fans and players had to sit through an hour-long start delay. So issues with the ice were discovered after a lengthy pregame ceremony. It included a carpet and chairs near the net, and ice maintenance crews were at one point, as you can see, using a fire extinguisher to resurface the ice. Okay, I love this. During the delay, some Charge players were entertaining themselves by playing a game of hangman on the bench. I saw this earlier. I thought this was during a regular game. I didn't know what was happening. But the game did get underway just after 8 o'clock.
I was trying to figure out what was
with another chance to make it count on the player advantage. They've yet to do it this time. They do it now!
All right, so it all ended up well. A good night for the Charge. Scored late in the third to beat the Torrent 4-3. They next play on the road in New York against the Sirens on Sunday. Now, Jackie, you were saying you're trying to figure out what the word was. Do we know what the word was? Couldn't you figure it out?
I think I looked once and I was like, I give up.
Like winners, champion, Ottawa, exclamation mark, something like that would have been good.
Yeah, victory, is ours.
Yeah. I just thought, without sound, I guess, I thought, oh, overconfident playing hangman during a timeout.
I just was reminded that I love that game.
Yeah.